Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Red from Starport Scarlet, and welcome to the show. This is Hammertime, Episode 1. I am playing as Mr. Jason Statham, as you can see here. I've got strength all the way up, endurance all the way up, and agility all the way up. Use the cheat menu mod to do this. Basically, what I had the idea for is I'm going to start off a game and do a melee-only run using the claw hammer. So, of course, I have rooted. I've got big leagues, that sort of thing, just to give me the max out of my melee damage. And right now I'm going to go ahead and show you a few of the perks that I got, just so you know what I'm doing. I did use a mod that adds the mutations from Fallout 76. So you see here, adrenal reaction. We got healing factor. We have marsupial for higher jump. Speed demon, because we're not really going to be using guns, so we don't really care. We could run faster and that sort of thing. And twisted muscles also, we're not using guns. All this together gives me around about 300 damage on my claw hammer. We also have ninja, so our sneak damage is good. Rooted, so most of the time we're going to be standing still when we swing the claw hammer, that sort of thing. I usually don't play with VATS, but I figured for this run, VATS is going to be absolutely necessary, so I made the agility all the way up. Rocking the metal armor, but I also have a mod that does pretty much like 1-to-1 damage, so I'm going to be getting one-shotted with anything more than like a pipe pistol from the enemies, so I figured it kind of evened itself out. I could do high damage, pretty much one shot with the hammer for most enemies, but I have to get close enough to use it. So starting off, we're outside of Red Rocket. We're going to make our way to Sanctuary. And then I'm going to start from Sanctuary and just pretty much make my way to Nuke World. Because this whole thing starts off with just like a Nuke World run. What I want to do is the Gauntlet first. This episode's going to be called, whatever, Hammer Time. Episode 1. Jason Statham versus the Gauntlet. And, yeah, so basically I start off in Sanctuary. I do have the survival options holotape equipped, so I have the autosave feature right then and there. And yeah, that's kind of, it's kind of like cheesing it a little bit, but as often as I'm going to get murdered in this playthrough, I know I'm going to need to be able to save over and over and over again. I mean, I'm going to be inching my way through this playthrough. And after Nuka World, I'll probably do Far Harbor, and then I'll go ahead and do the rest of the game. And I'm not planning on choosing any factions of these radstags here. Beat them to death, hammer their butts to death. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm not really planning on backing any factions. I hate the Institute. I hate the Brotherhood. I hate the Railroad. I absolutely, specifically hate the Minutemen and Preston Garvey. That's 293 is what my hammer's doing. So yeah, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to back the Disciples, which I also hate more than anyone else in Nuka World. I hate them. They're just a-holes, man. Nisha, you talk to her the first time and she just threatens you and she's just overconfident, man. And every time I've ever played Nuka World, I usually give the parks away to like the operators in the pack, but I never give anything to the Disciples, leading them to turn against me. And of course, you got to go and kill Nisha and her, her brother and whatever the redneck lady's name is. I forget. Just because, number one, I really want the brother's helmet. Like, that helmet's super sick with, like, the knives coming off of it and whatnot. But, yeah, I absolutely cannot stand the Disciples, dude. I always want to murder them straight up. Look at Mr. Jason Statham. There he is. But I think for this playthrough, I'm going to back the Disciples, because I've been playing as Jason Statham. Really haven't done much. Started as a mercenary for hire, so he started in Diamond City. I made my way up to the Museum of Freedom, and I basically told Preston Garvey and Sturgis to go F themselves, so they're kind of stuck at the Museum of Freedom until I take them to Sanctuary, which I'm not going to do that. Let's just be honest, I don't want to deal with any of that in this playthrough. Jason Statham's pretty much just going to be a D-hole. Just a big old anus just to everyone. He's going to say no to everyone that asks him for anything. He's just not going to care very much, so I figured the Disciples is the way to go. So I think what I'm going to do mostly with this run is take over Nuka World, back the Disciples, give them all the parks, and then when I get back to the Commonwealth, just basically slowly take over the Commonwealth with raider camps using the Disciples, and we're just gonna just raid everything. And this is interesting. This is a POI. I'm not 100%. Oh look, we got a Rad Scorpion and a Stingwing fighting. And you'd think that the Rad Scorpion would have it, but the Stingwing just takes him out like it's nothing, and he's glowing and all that. He's nothing for the Claw Hammer. But yeah, this POI, I've never really gone up this way, but I'm pretty sure this has to be added by one of the mods I'm running. And if anybody actually watches this video, if anybody's interested, I can do like a video, like a short video, giving you guys my mod list. And yeah, but this is a really cool looking POI. And I tried to jump up here and hit that person with the hammer because they told me to back up and call me a name, and this guy slices my throat like it's nobody's business. But Jesus. Nothing like getting murdered by raiders and being called an asshole. But yeah, no, I thought that POI was super interesting looking. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out at some point. But yeah, so Jesus. Okay. So basically I have, I'm rocking probably about 50 mods or so on Xbox One. And yes, the game runs super, super unstable once you start throwing mods in the mix on Xbox One. Not that the game is 100% stable vanilla. I mean, anybody that's modded, especially on Xbox, knows that that can really set you back so far as playing the game. But yeah, like I have a mod, More Explore, and I'm pretty sure either that game is vanilla or that POI is vanilla, and I just never went and checked it out before because I don't really go up this way, or that was added by More Explore, which is the only mod I could think of that would have added that POI. But yeah, basically what I'm doing now is I'm trying to run to Nuka World, and as you can see now, it's pretty much like a one-shot from the raiders and bad guys. So, even though my hammer does a significant amount of damage, it's going to be a challenge to get close to something enough to use it. So I'm going to be saving over and over and over again using the autosave in my aid section from the Survival Options holotape. And usually what I would do if I'm playing survival is just use a bed, and I have camp, like a simple camping mod where I can throw a bed down anywhere and use that to sleep to make a save. But I mean, as often as I'm going to need to be saving in this playthrough, it just didn't make sense to only use that. So I'm just going to be auto-saving and inching my way slowly over and over again throughout this playthrough. And I just keep trying to get to Nuka World, and I think it takes me 3 or 4 tries to just get from Sanctuary to the outskirts of Nuka World. What you're seeing for so far as the landscape goes is a mod that I absolutely love. It's a mod called Borealis Landscape, and there's 2 files for that, and you can get that on Xbox or PC on Bethesda.net. And it just changes the look of the game. It just looks so gorgeous, and honestly, if that's the only mod you're running, you're going to immediately feel a difference in the game as soon as you start and leave the vault. I mean, it looks great, it feels great, it doesn't feel like the same old run through Fallout. So anybody that's interested in modding, definitely check that one out. They did a frickin' phenomenal job on it. There's sand around the water, which looks really great, and all the grass. And the cool thing is it's just a texture mod. It doesn't add meshes, and it doesn't add a whole lot that's like hard on your system or anything. It's just a texture mod. It just changed the grass and the leaves and stuff to be more of a green post, I guess, Ice Age kind of feel. But oh man, it's super gorgeous, and it immediately gives you a difference when you're playing Fallout 4. So for you guys that haven't played in a while, maybe you've been on to other things, you think about going back to playing Fallout 4, definitely check out Borealis Landscapes. 10 out of 10. Recommend it. Look at that hammer, though. We're killing bloat flies. Pow! Jason Statham. Mora, pow! Get out of here. What kind of lifeguard would just be chilling here? And you'd think 200 years in the future that this lifeguard stand would just be rotten away and moldy and gross, but, you know, supports the weight of Jason Statham wearing full metal armor, so, you know, whatever. Take that for what it is. And I thought here for a second of stopping by the Federal Ration site, whatever it's called, because they have the M1 Garand mod on, and they have a unique M1 that's this machine from Fallout New Vegas. This machine kills commies. Absolutely love that gun. I play a lot of Call of Duty World War II, and I have a shortened M1 that I actually went and added a paint job for this machine on there. Just, I love it. It's funny to me. I don't know. Oh, this guy, Wastelander,
Hey there.
Please. I'm so thirsty.
asked me for
Can you
stuff.
spare any water?
Wish I could help.
Sorry,
I don't
bud.
have any.
If you do find some, don't forget about
Can't
me.
really do anything for you, son. Boom. Death. Yeah, but like I said, this guy's Jason Statham. This playthrough, I've never actually gone through and just been an evil character in this game, so I figured, why not start now? Anybody that asks me for something, I'm gonna kill. Just gonna murder him straight up. He's not gonna be a nice guy. I'm pretty much going like Jason Statham from like Crank, you know, Chev Chelios up in this piece. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to bulk up a lot of XP as early as possible by finding POIs and, you know, little things like that, killing whatever enemies I can. That way I can get my charisma up, because I'm going to want to have at least like a 10 charisma by the time I get to, what is it, Kitty Land, whatever the kitty place in Nuka World is, because the magician guy, you can talk him out of fighting you by just telling him basically, hey, your girlfriend's going to look for a cure for being a ghoul, why don't you just go join her? And he will actually do so if you have a 10 charisma every single time, I'm pretty sure, so. And even if your charisma isn't 10, I mean, you have a higher chance, obviously, with having a higher charisma. Get back here. You're dead. Not sure why VATS didn't work there, but, you know, you can't win them all. I like to think that the Fallout universe is better having a guy that looks like Jason Statham sprinting around at super speeds and jumping through the sky with a claw hammer in his right hand, just beating every bad guy to death that he comes across. I also have healing factors, so every time I get out of combat, I don't have to worry about a bunch of stim packs or bandages or anything like that. My health just kind of goes back up on its own, which is going to come in handy for Nuka World. Like I said, I'm not really trying to go vanilla and see, can I beat Nuka World with only a claw hammer? Of course I can, with enough saves and enough patience and all that, but... And also, in my inventory, I have given myself a Thompson submachine gun. My plan for that, basically, was once I get to Nuka World, beat Coulter and become the overboss, I'm going to get Porter Gage to follow me. I'm going to give him the submachine gun. I'm not going to take him to every park, but there's certain parks I'm going to have help with, because there are turrets. You know, turrets that are so high up that even with a hammer, I'm not going to be able to jump up and hit them. As you saw before at that POI with the Raider camp, when I try to jump and swing my hammer, I can't swing it in midair. So even if I wanted to take out the turrets that are up high on my own, I simply just can't do it. So this run would be dead in the water if I don't have some sort of assistance. So I'm going to take Porter Gage, like the Galactic Zone. Definitely going to take Porter Gage to the Galactic Zone, and I'm not going to want him to kill everything, because giving him the Thompson SMG, and of course I have Companions Unlimited Ammo with the cheat menu, just because giving them ammo sucks. And auto heal, Companions auto heal on survival, you usually have to have stim packs to get your companions back up, or they just sit there forever, and if you get far enough away from them, they get pissed off, I guess, and just go back to wherever their original spot is, because it says you left them behind. And I don't want to have to deal with any of that. So, I don't want to carry around 100 stim packs just to fucking keep getting Coulter gauge up every 5 seconds. So yeah, Companion's auto heal. I'm going to need him with the SMG to take out some of the turrets in like the Galactic Zone, and maybe, I'm not completely sure at this point until I get there, but a few other places. Now, I could, with my 5 sneak, I could just kind of cheese this section, sneak around to the entrance, and just sprint down the subway and go in. Every once in a while, some of the raiders will follow you down there. And the easiest thing to do would just be run halfway down the stairs, turn around, wait for the guys to come through the door, and once they spawn in, just murder them. But the Assaultron will definitely follow you down every single time. And I don't want to deal with any of that, so what I'm going to try to do is kill the bulk of these guys. Which isn't easy, mind you, because they all have, a scattered out kind of pattern. Once Commander Kaler finishes her little speech talking to them, they all just kind of spread out and just kind of walk around. And if you pop a shot at any of them, there's going to be a sniper that goes up on one side and a sniper that goes up on the other, which is what I've noticed in most playthroughs. I don't know if that's for sure or not, if that's like a scripted thing or if it's just happenstance. But basically, I'm going to be using a lot of sneaking around corners and hiding, and VATS. I hate VATS in most playthroughs. I feel like it's kind of a cheap way to play the game. Kind of takes away the tension. I'm glad in this game they started the VATS doesn't completely freeze time. In Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, I don't use VATS at all. As you can see here, I tried to just sprint for it, and this guy said, hell no, you're not doing that. It beat me to death with the pump action. But yeah, no, I really am not a fan of VATS. It kind of takes you out of the element of action. It kind of makes it a little bit easier. You can kind of cheese it a little more. But with this playthrough, especially using like the hammer, I don't really see a way to do this without VATS. So VATS is going to be super hardcore in this one. I might be overusing VATS to some of you, whatever. It's what I got to do. I'm trying to do this game with a freaking hammer. I'm thinking about going back and naming the hammer Mjolnir, or whatever Thor's hammer is called. But for now, Claw Hammer works. Jason Statham. Can you imagine just Jason Statham in the post-apocalypse, Mad Max style, just beating raiders to death with like a husky claw hammer he picked up from a Home Depot? Good night, Commander Kaler. That's where they start coming after me. I'm just going to cheese this corner and wait for them to run around and just VATS them as they go. Another thing I noticed, I don't know if it's just the amount of damage my hammer's doing or if this is just how it is for all melee weapons, but anybody that's standing right next to each other when I hit VATS and hit them, it kills everybody that's standing there. And look, that one shot from the shotgun almost killed me. But like, watch the assault. Pow! Killed them both with one swing. And that's kind of interesting to me. It might come in handy. And I don't know if that's from my mods. I don't have a mod that does that. And if that's just a vanilla thing. I don't know if it's the damage I'm doing or if the follow through from the swing hits them both. But yeah, that might help me out in the future of this playthrough. Disciples all the way. It's going to be hard, man. I'm going to be throwing up in my mouth every once in a while. Having to talk to Nisha and helping anything Disciple related. Because I hate them. But yeah, I'm rocking about 50 mods. And if you guys are going to watch this, if anyone watches this that's interested in knowing my actual mod list, say something down in the comments. Just say, what's your mod list or something like that. And I'll post like a mod list on there, the load order. I'm not completely sure about load orders. It's a fickle business, but it seems to run pretty stable for the most part for me. Unless I go to downtown Boston. Ugh.
What happened to you?
Tell you something, man. Downtown Boston in this game, when you have mods... Shut up.
You gotta help me. Please.
Downtown Boston's rough. On your frame rates.
What's in it for me?
I can pay you. You bring them back
And that's
safe
if it
I'll
doesn't
give you
crash.
everything I have. Just hear me out. My family and I ran into some traders a while back. Told us they knew a safe settlement at Nuka World. But when we got there, found out they were raiders the whole time, just stringing us along. I managed to escape, but my wife and son are still back there. I wanted to get some help and go back for them, but didn't count on taking a bullet.
I like how he's holding his
Family's
stomach,
probably dead.
Don't say that.
even though there's no blood
give
or
up on
bullet wound or
I
anything.
can't. You're here for a reason. You gotta be. I turned on a transmitter
Harvey, you
here,
could have at least
hoping
taken like some
someone would
mole
come.
rat blood or something and
Didn't
put it
think
on your
it'd work,
shirt.
But here you are. It gotta be a sign, right? So, please, I'm begging you. They're running out of time. If not for them, do it for the Caps. You bring them back safe, I can pay you. I swear.
What a chode.
For the Caps, you got yourself a deal.
Oh, thank God. Here, take this. It's the password to the monorail control terminal. The fastest way to get to Nuka World is to take the Nuka Express, but I shut it down so the bastards couldn't follow me. Find the control terminal in the office, power it back up, and hurry. God knows how much time they have left.
Old Harvey. For those of you, I doubt there's any out there that haven't played Nuka World, but Harvey's faking it. He's basically just a lure to get people into the Gauntlet in Nuka World. And like I said, I love how he's just laying there, just kind of holding his stomach, talking about how he got shot, even though there's no blood or anything. And what's funny is if you have a stim pack in your inventory, you can offer him a stim pack, and he'll be like, no, thank you, you keep it. You're like, no, I insist, you take the stim pack, man. And if you do that enough, he'll eventually be like, oh, look, man, you caught me. I'm just trying to get people into Nuka World. What a penis, man. I think Harvey's one of the worst characters in this game. He's pretty well voice acted, but man, if I don't hate him as a person. So here we are, on the monorail, about to start Nuka World. Going to a place with all the zip of Nuka-Cola. It's the cheeriest place in all the world.
And on behalf of the Nuka-Cola Corporation, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you
I'm
aboard
smoking a cigarette
the
now for the
Nuka
hard
Express
save.
monorail.
I have the
For
auto
your
save
own
function,
safety, please remain seated or utilize
but
the
smoking
provided
a cigarette,
handrails
I've smoked
while
the
the train
cigars
is
as
in
cigarettes,
motion.
which is a good way to make a hard save
If you'll
for
direct
those of
your
you playing in
attention to the
survival
right
that don't
side
really
of the
want to sleep in
monorail,
bed all the
you can
time.
observe Nuka World's famous Fizz Top Mountain. Standing at over 100 meters tall, Fizz Top Mountain is the largest man-made structure in Nuka World and features the 5-star Fizz Top Grill. Coming up in the heart of Nuka
I
World,
think Nuka World's probably the
Nukatown, USA.
best of the DLC for this game.
So,
Just saying that.
Harvey bagged another sucker to help his family. Can't believe that gag still works. I only got a minute, so you better listen, and listen good. His name's Gage, Porter Gage, and the truth is, you've been set up. This ain't no rescue mission. It's a death trap. But if you somehow make it through alive, I have an interesting offer for you. In the meantime, have fun and put on a good show. I'll be watching.
Old Porter Gage. Porter Gage gets a bad rap. I know some people that absolutely hate him as a character, but I kind of like Porter Gage. He's just this guy in Nuka World just trying to do the best that he can. I mean, look who the overboss is, you know? Anybody that hates Porter Gage, then let me ask you this. Would you rather the main person you talk to and interact with in Nuka World be a disciple? Because I wouldn't. What if it was Nisha instead of Porter Gage? No one wants that. And if you do want that, comment down below why you want that, because I don't get it. The enemies are nearby, so I'm going to have to make an autosave. I apologize for the quality of video. It cuts here and there. Using Mixer, basically broadcasting on Mixer on the Xbox One, and then downloading the gameplay from Mixer, which I never do. I usually use Twitch to do it. But, I don't know. The compression on both seems to be a thing. And eventually, you know, when you upload it onto YouTube, it can be, like, kind of grainy and whatnot. So I apologize. For anyone, I don't have a capture card. I'm working with very minimal stuff here. Ooh, the turret room. This was fun. Figuring out how to do the turret room with nothing but a hammer was kind of a challenge. Now, there's a certain way that I got through it, and I actually didn't even expect to be able to do it as easy as I do it here. I thought I was going to be running through here, and I thought for sure that this first room with the turrets was just going to be it for me. But I didn't realize I had 4 jet on me. And I probably should have, had I realized I had the jet, I would have stocked up on a lot more of it, just for certain parts of Nuka World, especially Coulter. Which just would have made things so much easier. But yes, jet. The 4 jet that I have in my inventory is the only possible way that I cleared this room using nothing but a hammer. And it still wasn't easy. I mean, it didn't make it an easy thing to do. I think I died like 3 or 4 times here. Oh, look at that. That's just something you don't want to see. Pow! No more face. But yeah, the jet here really saved my little bum. I'm not sure where I got it either. I started off at Diamond City. Like I said, I ran from Diamond City up to the Museum of Freedom. And I basically got to the point where Preston asked for help, and I told them to go F themselves. Took the power armor and killed all the raiders in the Death Claw, and then I just dropped off the power armor and left. That's another thing I usually do not do. I never play with power armor. It's not that I'm not a fan of power armor, especially for Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. I think the way that they did the power armor after New Vegas was super, super cool and rad. It just makes the game a lot easier. And, you know, I want a challenge. I don't want to run around in a personal portable tank suit, you know? I want it to be difficult. I want to be soft and squishy. You know what I mean? Which is why I have, like, the damage multiplier mod that I do have. Basically makes it 1-to-1. If it's a human, you know, shooting him in the head with a rifle or something, it's usually going to kill him pretty much in one shot. Super mutants, they're a little bulkier, and basically the bigger and badder the enemy, the more shots they're going to take. But humans, for the most part, it's more realistic, I guess. I'm the type of the guy that I can't even play multiplayer on Call of Duty. Like, I have to play hardcore mode. Because I don't want to shoot somebody 15 times with an SMG 45 caliber to kill them. You know, I want it to be 2 or 3 shots and they're dead. It makes sense, even from a distance. I like the challenge of that. So I don't usually use VATS. I don't usually use power armor. And hell, for the most part, I don't even usually use armor. I like the outfits. I like to make a character. Most of the time I make a, you know, pretty cute hot chick or something and give her like a cool outfit that's, you know, not armor related. And I just kind of do my thing. But here for this run, I figured I'm going to need some armor. So I cheesed in a set of sturdy metal armor, upgraded it. Most of it's, I think, either pocketed. One does AP refresh speed. One does less AP for sprinting, I think. Do believe. And you can see here how this jet is just kind of saving my tail completely. Dead again. So like 4 or 5 times, yeah. Oh, doggo. Eventually I get through it though. And I think, I'm not completely sure, but I think when I beat this, I noticed the door at the end was open. So I'm not sure if you can just run through this without even really having to fight the turrets, which probably would have been a smarter move, and I could have saved my jet. But, you know, after dying the first 2 or 3 times, I had a point to prove, you know? I just had to kill all these turrets. So there it is, all the turrets down, and I can run out, and I could have just left the whole time, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. You live and you learn. Hindsight's 20/20, and it's a bitch. You know what I mean? Use some bandages. I was gonna go back here, get my purified water that I forgot to get after I died the first time. Get a little drinky poo. Which is funny because I could have pretty much run through about 80% of the Gauntlet. I could have just run through that first room, but I just didn't. I didn't realize I could until after the fact. Next time I'll probably just run straight through it. I have a pretty good sense of familiarity with the Gauntlet, but, you know, I'm not completely there. And, you know, I'm going to take time to disengage all the traps, all that stuff, every little bit that I can, just for that extra little tiny bit of XP. Like I said, I'm trying to get my charisma up to about between 7 and 10. That way when I do the kitty zone, I can talk whatever the fabulous or whatever the crap that ghoul's name is out of murdering me, and just make it easy on myself by just telling him, hey, leave. And he will. He's gonna leave. We got this. So the second room is just, you know, floor traps. There's some gun and flame traps placed around in different places, but it's probably the easiest out of everything in the Gauntlet. Pretty sure that floor gives out if you stand around with your PP in your hands too long. Random box of sugar bombs. Go ahead and make a little quick save here. Like ball peen hammer. You know, I wish, and I'm not sure, you guys let me know, is there a mod that lets you use the ball peen hammer as a weapon? Because this hammer that I'm using here, always go to the left door. The hammer that I'm using here is actually from another mod called Sim Settlements, and a lot of you guys are probably familiar with Sim Settlements. Whenever you install Sim Settlements, under the Chem Station, there is a tool called the Immersion Breaker, which is this hammer, and it basically lets you, I guess, supposed to get rid of, like, I guess, refresh or get rid of things left behind by Sim Settlements. Like, you know, you destroy a plot and there's a bed that's still left over. I guess you're supposed to be able to knock it out using this hammer. But I saw, hey, claw hammer, it does some damage. I can, you know, cheese my way up to doing a high damage with it and use it as a weapon. So why not? The ball peen hammer should be a weapon. So should the screwdriver, in my opinion. Use it like a combat knife or something. Stab people in the face with it, like Andrea from The Walking Dead. You know, it'd be cool if there was like a lot of different things in the game that you could actually use as a weapon. Or if there's a mod where it turns certain junk items or scrap into weapons, you guys let me know, because it would be freaking amazing if I could run around with like a giddy up buttercup leg, or a ball peen hammer, or a screwdriver, or a desk fan, and beat things with it. And this is me going to different weapons to shoot that monkey's head off and realizing none of those weapons have ammo. Pow, the one shot from the 44. Basically, if you take that monkey's head off, none of these turrets can come to life and shoot you. I think this is the one time I actually use a gun going through the gauntlet. And yeah, it probably was cheap. Looking back on it, I probably should have
Won't be able
run
to
through
take this.
there with nothing but the hammer. But I don't know how I would have made it through, especially with the damage multiplier mods I have on it. It's just crap. And I didn't realize, going through here, that the Rad-X I took in the radiation room suppresses the mutations from the Fallout 76 mutation mods that I have. So at some point I start trying to jump and realize that I'm jumping normal height. Like right here, I'm like, what's going on? Why can't I jump up here? I'm supposed to have marsupial. I'm looking like, the heck? Why isn't it working? Do I still have marsupial? I thought maybe the mod was glitched out. But no, it's just the fact that I took Rad-X in the room before this, which suppresses mutations, obviously, so made things a little more difficult. And this alien. This invincible alien here that I try to beat to death. And he gets the last laugh. I like what they did with the sentry bots in this game. They're pretty rough looking, in a good way. Yeah, here we go. This is me figuring out. Okay. Still have marsupial. It's just the, let's see, 14 damage. And I was like, what the heck? Is my game glitched out? This is where I'm figuring out, okay, it's the Rad-X that I took. Maybe I need to wait a little bit of time. Then I can come back. Try to drop a campfire. And I forgot that the rad rats in the cage in this room prevent you from being able to sleep because you're too close to enemies. Yep, there they are. And I wasn't about to try to open that gate and fight the rad rats. It's just an unnecessary, waste of time. So I ran back up here. There's a bed in this room where you find some food. If you're playing on survival, this is a good little spot to make a decent save. Get some food in you if you need it. And there we go. Rad-X wore off. Now I got marsupial back. My claw hammer's back to doing the right amount of damage. We're good to go. Now I can go tear this spaceman a new booty hole and jump up over everything like it's nothing. And that almost killed me. Surprised it didn't, to be honest, but it is what it is. And I guess because the turret's in the next room, it prevented me from letting the healing factor heal me up, so I'm forced to use a bandage here. I don't really care about running around with like 10, 15 HP. The only problem is you hear that doo 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 from your heartbeat constantly, and it kind of tends to drive you crazy after a minute. Nobody wants to sit there and just listen to a sound over and over and over and over and over again. Pop that autosave down. Sprint down here and kill the turret. And now we're on to the mine shaft. Now, most times I play this, I blow up several times. And what I've noticed is sometimes when you blow up from the mines, when you load your last save, say you make a save right before you run through the tunnels where the mines are, when you load your save, the mines are still gone. Any mines that have blown up, that you've blown up, that have blown you up, they're usually gone when you go back and make a load. But what I did not realize this far back is that I had sneak at 5, which means you have a very low chance of triggering floor-based traps, which mines, tripwires, things like that. And so I make an autosave expecting this to be a challenging part, but then I just sprint through it and nothing blows up. It's literally the easiest part. Anybody that's planning on doing Nuka World that doesn't want to have to deal with the tediousness of that part, just make sure your sneak is like 5, if you can. If you're playing with the cheat terminal, just pop 5 cheat on, or 5 sneak on there. And I basically just ran past everything there. All the mire alerts, everything. Pop this trap off, open the door, run up in there, close the door behind us, we're done. Now it's this part. Make autosave, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to run straight through here, because I had just figured out from the last part that my floor-based traps barely go off. So the first time I try to do this, I try to just sprint right through it like it's nobody's business. Which you'll see ends up being kind of my downfall. This is what overconfidence looks like, boys and girls. Right into the gas room, run up into the back, get the key out of the door. Roaches come after you. Stop at the table, get the holotape, password. Run back into the other room, not this one. Ooh. Run back into this room. Shut it behind us. Try to hit the computer, but I die. Like, even the rad roaches become like a really dangerous foe. Which is funny because there's no perfect mod for damage. I mean, you can have a mod that's like 1-to-1 damage that makes it more realistic, but you gotta think, yeah, it's a giant roach as big as your torso. But do you really think that a cockroach as big as your torso would be able to bite through 2 solid inches of steel armor? Probably not. But for schnitz and giggles, let's just say it did, and these roaches feasted on my corpse. So this time I go through and I disengage all the traps, which I should have done the first time because I needed the XP anyways. Might not be much XP, but every little bit counts. There's a bunch of grenade bouquets. And if you disarm them all, you actually come away with like I think 7 or 8 frag grenades, which is pretty nice. Dude, Jason Statham's super good at disarming traps, you know what I mean? You make a save right here, or do the gas room again, which, oddly enough, is more challenging the second time I do it, even though I have a higher health. Grab the password, grab the key, run back, kill these roaches, kill the ant. Sprint back through. Now you gotta be careful here on the terminal, because if something hits you, especially these roaches, if they hit you while you're trying to use the terminal, see what I'm saying, backs you back out of the terminal. When you kill these legendary roaches, they bust open into a bunch of little roaches, so you also have to watch out for that. As you can see, once I back out of this terminal, I'm gonna start getting eaten by these little roaches, and I barely make it out of there, but once again, like with the Assaultron, VATS kind of kills them all with one hit. I'm trying to aim at a bunch of different ones. I run out of AP. I decide to just swing, pow, but it kills them all. Just like that. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's just how high the damage for the hammer is, or if that's something that's coming along with like my damage multiplier mod. Stomp that boy in the face. But yeah, I'm not sure what's causing that, or if that's a feature that's in the vanilla game. But, you know, if you're doing enough damage, I guess you could just kill anything within a few feet. And Jason Statham swings a claw hammer and just kills everything in a 5.5-foot radius. Pretty baller, if you ask me. Now onto the ant room. not a fun place to be. I recommend taking Molotovs, maybe a flamer. I've noticed that with the flying ant swarms and stuff, flame-based weapons seem to be the way to go. It does a lot more damage. I have a mod that's called M2 Flamethrower. It doesn't get rid of the flamer itself, but using a flamer, you can mod it into an M2, which is like your basic World War II kind of era flamethrower with the backpack, and it looks, a lot more realistic, and it shoots a lot further and stuff. Here we go. I try to VATS the flying ant swarm. I see how little damage it does, and I decide, no, F that. I'm out, and I just bail. Run out into the Gauntlet. It's super dark. It's wicked dark. I can't tell where I'm going. Didn't trigger any of those traps. People start shooting me at the end, but I'm just running through like nobody's business. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Gauntlet. Ran straight through it. In the next episode, I'll probably make it episode 2, Jason Statham, the Overboss, or something. And what I'll do is basically beat Coulter, go out into Nuka World, talk to Porter Gage, become the Overboss, side with the Disciples, and then, like I said, I'm probably going to do the Galactic Zone first.
Yeah, boss.
Finally. Now go shut off that damn alarm.
All right, I'm on it.
So that Coulter get his dialogue out.
There's my next victim now. Don't look like much. Here's a quick rundown how this works. You go stock up, make yourself presentable. Then we're gonna give these folks a show. A show where I decorate these walls here with your lovely brains. Thanks to this suit, I'm the only one that wins this fight. Period. Think you're hot shit getting this far? Think again. Alright, Gage, let him through. Something tells me I'm really gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, Coulter, put it where the sun don't shine, man. Nobody likes you anyways. But yeah, like I was saying, next episode I'll beat Coulter, if he doesn't glitch out. I've been having a problem. I don't know if it's my mods or what, but I'm having a problem where he glitches out to where the Thirst Zapper doesn't actually work. It doesn't actually knock down his defense. But yeah, I'll become the Overboss, I'll decide with the Disciples, and then probably episode 3 will be the start of the Nuka World, like the Nuka World places, or whatever. I'll start with the parks being Galactic Zone. So yeah, that's going to be it in this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Look forward to more Hammer Time, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for stopping by.